candidates. Eva Hummel with Atlas Energy, and I will serve as your moderator this morning. The forum is sponsored by a local agency, State Farm, Jacinia Zuniga. At this time, I would like to spotlight our sponsor, who has made this program possible. Thank you, Jacinia, for sponsoring. Would you like to come up and say a few words?
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Good morning, Yesenia.
My name is Yesenia Zuniga, Yesenia Zuniga State Farm. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about State Farm, what we do and what we're known for. And for starters, I think that State Farm has a really good mission. You know, our goal is to really help those when the unexpected happens, claims, especially, you know, with the thunderstorms that have been going around lately. That's something that State Farm really strives to do, is to help those that are in need get back to where they were before. So one thing that I do want to spotlight today is the fact that State Farm is turning 100 years old this year. June of this year will be 100. So I think that's a pretty good testament to, you know, we must be doing something right as a company to be around for so long. We've helped so many of our customers throughout the years, and we hope to continue to do that for many more years to come. Just a few facts about State Farm. We are rated number 36 in 2019. We were rated 36 in our 2019 Fortune 500. Sorry, so that's untwisted there. We are ranked number 1 in the nation for the following lines of business, which is auto insurance, fire insurance, life, and then our customer service. And then I like to not to mention that we also strive to, when it comes to paying out on claims, State Farm really strives on that. I have to say that State Farm wants to pay out on claims, so if there is a loss for our customers, State Farm is quick to respond. I want to talk a little bit about the Yesenia Zuniga agency. So as I was sharing with Eva earlier, we are pretty new to the community. We just opened up the agency on June of 2021. Less than a year, but we are located here on Northwest Highway in the corner of Centerville and Northwest Highway right next to Bank of America. So we've been around for just a few months, but we're hoping to be around for a long time to come. Our mission is pretty similar to State Farm's mission, but we really, you know, the community that we're in, we really strive to help all those, you know, in the community. And the way that we strive to do that is with a personalized service. So treating everyone like family is our motto. Treating everyone like family. So anybody that comes through the door, we you know, sit them down and kind of see them as our parents, uncles, however we can. And just what we call the simple conversation is really getting to know our customers, find out what their needs are, and then how we you know, fill those needs. The products that we offer, so when it comes to auto and fire insurance, now when I speak of fire insurance, a lot of people don't know this, but it just has to do with, you know, homeowners, renters insurance, but not only that, even commercial, so business insurance. Something that we really focus on is just helping business owners and making sure that they have the protection that they need in place. Life insurance is something, in my opinion, the most important thing that product that we have to offer is life insurance, protecting the families that of our customers. Health, and then bank. A lot of you know, customers don't know that we're also we offer bank products, so mortgages, credit cards, checking and savings accounts. And then lastly, I want to invite you guys to come visit our agency. So when you become part of the Yesenia Zuniga agency, you get me and my team, and we will work very hard for you guys. Thank you.
So Jacinia, thank you so much. And you know, when before we got started, I had an opportunity to visit with her for just a little bit, and it is just I just love seeing young professional business women starting their own businesses in the community, taking the right steps to get engaged with the Chamber of Commerce, They are the connecting source. You know that as business members of this chamber. So I have already told her about the WB. I told her that is a great group for her, but there are so many opportunities for you to get engaged. And just look to the people that are here today, because they are here to help you and to get to know you. So thank you so much for your sponsorship. Okay, we have several community leaders joining us today, and we would like to thank all of you for being here. I would like to now recognize the leadership in the room and also the leadership that is joining us through Zoom. Please hold your applause until everyone is introduced. From the Garland City Council, from District 1, we have Councilman Jeff Bass. And from District 2, we have Councilwoman Deborah Morris. From District 3, we have Councilman Ed Moore. Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 4, Councilman B.J. Williams. We have our City Manager, Ryan Bradford. We have our Assistant City Manager, Judd Rex. From our Garland Independent School District Board of Trustees, we have Secretary Place 3, Ms. Linda Griffin. We have Trustee Place 1, Larry Glick. We have Trustee Place 2, Johnny Beach. And from the State Representative District 113, we have staff member Maria Cornell with Representative Greta Ann Bauer's office. And from the Garland Chamber Board of Directors, we have Mr. Johnny Clark with Express Employment Professionals. And we also have Judd Rex from the City of Garland. Education and advocacy are initiatives of the Garland Chamber of Commerce provides. This forum is a public service, and they are privileged and proud to play a role in the democratic process. The Garland Chamber is a nonpartisan organization and shall neither endorse candidates for public office or political parties. The Chamber started promoting the Meet Your Local Candidates blog on all platforms. This blog contained information for each candidate, such as websites, social media links, and more. Since the beginning of this campaign 3 weeks ago, they have seen enormous engagement. It is currently the third most visited web page of the Chamber site. It has reached over 2,100 individuals across social media platforms. And this blog had a 10% click rate on email marketing, where the average click rate is 2%. This campaign will run until Election Day, May 7th. I just want to say going from 2% to 10% is a great accomplishment of the Chamber. They're really doing a great job in bringing information to its partners. So great job, Karina and staff. Okay, so let me begin to review the ground rules. Candidates will be introduced in ballot order. Candidates in contested races will be given 7 minutes to address attendees. Unopposed candidates will be recognized. Time limits for all comments will be strictly enforced. Candidates will have a timer. And of course, we encourage an opportunity to ask questions at the end. Okay, so let's begin. We will start with the City Council candidates. From District 1, Councilman Jeff Bass, unopposed. From District 4, Mayor Pro Tem Councilman B.J. Williams, unopposed. In District 3, we have 3 candidates. We have Tracy Claybrook, Connie Kawai, and Deborah Morris, incumbent.
District 2.
Two? Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, did I say District 3? Or District 3, so sorry, District 2. Okay, my apologies. Okay, well, for District 2, I welcome Tracy Claver to come up.
Good morning. It's early, so District 2, District 3, District 4, we're all here. So good morning. My name is Tracy Claybrook, and I live and work in District 2. I live downtown. I own a small, I would say micro business at 510 Main Street. It's called the Froxy. You might have been in there. So I'm very familiar with what's going on, at least in the downtown area and parts surrounding. So as you know, the first issue probably people want to talk about is construction, streets. People complain about it a lot. We work really hard downtown to try to keep everybody's spirits really high, and that if you see construction, what you're really seeing is not inconvenience, but progress. So that's a really important message that everyone in the city of Garland really needs to let people know, or at least try to get them to understand that yeah, you might have to detour here, but pretty soon it's going to look pretty amazing. So I feel like the city of Garland has done a great job in getting street reconstruction up and going, and I think that's going to be going on now for a few more years. So I feel like that as the streets start to straighten out and clear up, people are going to not be on a bumpy ride, so they can think about other things, other issues. And some of those issues perhaps might be food deserts. People have to drive in District 2. There are some people that it's closer for them to go to Rowlett to buy groceries than it is to stay in Garland, and that's unfortunate. So we need to take a look at that. We also need to take a look at safety in the parks. Parks can always be safer. You know, Garland has done a wonderful job of revitalizing its parks, really building some wonderful destination parks. We just want to make sure they stay safe, and we want to make sure that once these parks get built, that there are programs in place that make people want to go to them, and not just a Sunday afternoon in the park. So that leads me to another issue that I'm concerned about, and that would be, we're kind of in an entertainment desert as well. There's not a lot for teenagers and young adults to do in Garland, and so they're bored, so they do things maybe they shouldn't be doing. And so I think that's something that we need to take a look at as well. It's really important that the young mind is engaged and it feels like it's got something to do that's worthwhile and people give their thumbs up to it. So I will tell you a little bit about myself. I, like I said, have taught college for 20 years. I taught at the Dallas Art Institute for 18, and now I currently teach at Richland College. I used to teach in the film industry, but now I teach painting and drawing, which are my loves. I'm a classically trained painter. I currently serve on the Garland Cultural Arts Commission, and that's a very interesting situation as we roll out their new plan for the next 2 years. And I'm also on the board as treasurer of the Garland Downtown Business Association. And we do a lot of fundraising and outreach for small to micro businesses in the downtown area. And that's a really exciting thing to see new businesses coming in. And our job is to help attract new businesses. And once those come in, to give those people some ideas for getting people into their stores or restaurants or services, whatever it is that they happen to be purveying. So I'm so happy to be up here meeting you all today. Some of you I know, some of you I don't formally know, but I know your face. And I hope that you will vote for me if you are in District 2. And you can reach me at the Froxy. I am so accessible, six days a week, 11 to 6. I'm there. But I'm also on social media. All my contact information has been published. And if you are interested, in order to save trees, paper, plastic trees, whatever, I have a digital business card that I'm happy to let you scan, and you can find out all the fun things about me on social media. Do I ask if there's questions? No, okay. So thank you. Have a good talk.
Looks like here comes the rain. Good morning, my name is Connie Ramos Kaidi, and thank you all for being here this morning and taking time from early morning to come, even though we're getting this wonderful weather. I am running as candidate for District 2. I have lived and worked here in Garland for the past 35 years. My husband, John Kaidi, who is my rock, my strength for everything that I do in this community. We have been married for 26 years. We have 4 children, 11 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. All our kids have gone to Garland ISD, graduates from GISD. And also, I am proud to say that I retired from GISD after 32 years of service with the school district. I guess that was like the best time of my life. Being with students and working with students, I believe that education is the key, and that we need to educate our children for them to be able to move forward and hopefully one day when they go to college, come back to Garland and start a business or come back and contribute to the community where they grew up in. I have been a community leader and advocate for as long as I have lived here. I have served on many boards and commissions, and I'm also the president to our Garland Council here in Garland. In that position, it brought me to know and understand the needs of our community. As the Garland Council, it was hard in the very beginning when I first moved to Garland 30 plus years ago to be able to see a person like me at this point in my life running, and I am proud to say I am the first Latina ever in the city of Garland to run for city council. And to me, that is an honor to be able to be here at this point in my life, working within my community, meeting people, knowing people. So I appreciate everything that the city of Garland has done for me. One of my greatest accomplishments also has been that I am the founding member of Unidos. Unidos is an association, an organization that started here in Garland when we were having issues back in the early 90s. Together with then Officer Steve Dye, we came together because of the issues that were going on within the Latino community and the police department. And we said, we need to do something. We need to work together to where we can have unity within our community. Unidos is now not just a Metroplex organization, it is a national organization. It is throughout the nation, and it is the police departments working together within the communities for a better community for everyone. And it has flourished, and I'm proud to say that I am so glad that we started it, and it has grown, and it has gone, and it is doing great things for all the communities throughout the US. I have also been a past board member for Habitat for Humanity. I was there for 4 years, and I love working with Habitat and looking at the families and screening families to be able to get into affordable housing. That, to me, that was very enriching to meet the families that really needed affordable housing. And that's something that we know that here in Garland hardly exists anymore. We have a lot of new families that are moving into Garland, but yet they're renting because they can't afford to buy a home. I currently also serve as a secretary for Crime Stoppers. That, to me, is an honor to be able, starting with Unidos and now working with Crime Stoppers with the Garland Police Department. for a better community as well. I believe in Garland, and I am excited to have the opportunity to continue to be part of our community, working to ensure that all our residents, not just the residents in District 2, but all the residents in the city of Garland, know that their voice matters. I am here to listen, to work for the greater good of this community. In closing, I just want to say, I am a candidate for District 2, and I'm here to represent you, the people of District 2, as your next city council person. Thank you. Okay, let me finish. Voting, because you didn't say that earlier. Voting starts April 25th. That is early voting, April 25th to May the 3rd, and election is on May the 7th. For my friends, candidates that are running, please, if you're out there canvassing your neighborhoods, remind all our voters that there are 2 elections, because people have started getting their mail-in ballots. And I heard last night from a constituent that our names were not on the ballot. And it's like, okay, you need to go back and look, because probably the ballot that you got is the ballot for the primaries, not for the locals. So I told her, you need to call the Dallas Elections Office and let them know that you need to get your mail-in ballot for the local elections in Garland, for the school board, for our city council, because people are getting their mail-in ballots, but not for us. So please, if you're out canvassing your neighborhoods, please remind the voters that there is 2 elections, but the most important one is the one for May the 7th. You can also look me up and www.connieforcouncil.com. All my information is out there. And I also have some information that I put at the table for y'all to read. So if you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer that at the end. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Really? Oh, that's gonna be a great audience. All right, if I'm here and I have to be awake enough to talk, you have to be awake enough to listen. So I'm Deborah Morris. I've been the council member here in District 2 for the last 4 years. I spent most of my private career as a nonfiction author and journalist, interviewing and writing about real life heroes and survivors. My young adult book series, Real Kids, Real Adventures, was eventually adapted by the Discovery Channel for a TV series and was nominated for an Emmy, lost to Reading Rainbow, which I'm still a little bitter about. But anyway, all of that was fun, but so is city government. You all know that, right? Boy, go get some more coffee. We'll go on. All right, many of my past experiences, from starting a technical resume service in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina, back when technology was new and startling, to serving 4 years as a volunteer disaster team leader with the Red Cross here in the Dallas area. Those have all provided valuable experience and skills in listening, analyzing complex issues, and communicating with people, all of which I have needed and used in this position, not only for my district, but to support the ongoing growth of all of the people and families who live here in our city, where I have lived and served for the last 36 years. I was recently honored to receive the Garland Firefighters Association endorsement. They specifically commented on my persistence in getting things done for my district. And all I can say is I've been married to my beloved husband for the last 48 years, and I know how to stick with the things that are important. This city is important, and I'm here to stay. So why am I running again? I want to continue and expand on what I've already started, which is an active partnership with the residents of District 2. When I was sworn in 4 years ago, I did not come in with a personal agenda. I promised just 3 things: that I would be accessible to you, that I would keep you informed, and that I would be guided in my decisions by your collective voice. I have kept those promises. I responded to thousands of emails, messages, and phone calls. I answer my phone and email, and I return calls. I've kept you informed. For the last 4 years, I've published detailed agenda notes in District 2 prior to every council meeting, and also held regular town halls and neighborhood meetings to make sure you always know what's happening. The fact is, I've gotten a lot done for this district, not because I'm anything special, but because you showed me where to look, pointed out the issues that were most important to you, and partnered with me, and that's big, throughout the process. So what have we accomplished together these last 4 years? Here's a very quick overview. Street repairs in the district are at an all-time high, with new streets and sidewalks transforming many of our oldest neighborhoods in District 2. The downtown square makeover is finally underway, something we've been waiting for 20 years. The new animal shelter is also finally complete and open. Older parks throughout our district are receiving new playgrounds, new walking trails, one of Garland's first splash pads. We're getting a full makeover of Blue Huff Park, and the long-awaited development of Tuckerville Park is a new tennis center. Neighborhood associations with no money are now able to apply for up to $10,000 in improvements without the need for matching funds, something many older neighborhoods in our district needed, and I advocated strongly for. In combination with our minor rehab and home repair grant and single-family home rehab program, it's hard to say, we've been able to help numerous elderly and low-income homeowners improve their houses and neighborhoods with no cash investment on their part. Our first ever City Juneteenth event, which I brought to council, will take place this year. The parking program that was deemed impossible for years on council, guess what? It suddenly became possible, it's in motion, and it's making a difference throughout the district and the city. I successfully championed the first senior tax relief in almost 20 years, despite some opposition on council. It took 2 years, but remember that whole persistence thing. I know how to nag. Emory East Side, a $26 million Palladium development, is under construction now in the far eastern part of the district. The first fresh development we have had in that area in decades. With the new private investment bringing more rooftops to the area, and the city also investing over $30 million within a mile of that site, we hope to attract more grocery stores, restaurants, and retailers in the months and years to come. We increased accessibility for our deaf and hard of hearing community after I requested closed captioning for our meetings and videos. We also increased accessibility for all our non-English speaking Garland residents after I requested buoyant live phone interpretation services to be provided to all council members. We are now able on the phone to speak with Garland residents in all over 100 languages spoken in our homes. It's sort of miraculous. I want no one left out. I want no one left behind in this city. So what are some of my priorities as we move forward? Public safety has to be the top priority always at all government levels. Even though overall violent crime in Garland was actually down last year. Citywide, it was down 7%. In District 2, it was down 11%. Homicides were unusually high last year. We had 20 murders compared to the usual 8 to 14 we see in our city of 250,000. Almost all, as usual, involve conflicts between people who already knew each other. Thankfully, this is the good news, that trend has not continued at all this year. This has been an excellent year so far. So how have we responded? In addition to adding more officers, we have added crime-fighting technology. We have flock safety cameras with license plate readers. We have a new gunshot detection system going in. We also, for safety in our parks, have installed video surveillance cameras initially at Central Park, Rick Oden, and Spring Creek, and they are already making a huge difference. So across District 2 and throughout the city, beautiful things are in motion, and the future has never looked better. Thank you for your support. See what somebody else is doing.
Okay, now for District 5. We have three candidates, Clee Kimball, Margaret Lutt, and John Den. So Clee, would you like to join me on stage?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Clee Kimball, a servant leader. A servant leader is a person who considers the needs of others before their own. This is an essential quality to possess when you are a council member. As a civic leader, you are expected to be a good listener, an effective communicator, devoted to others, approachable, accessible, and not to mention the willingness to learn. The question often arises of, why am I running for council? And the answer is simple. I want to serve others in a different capacity than just healthcare. Being in healthcare for over 20 years and then working in the COVID units changes you as a human being. It allows you to look at life differently and how the well-being of others is so much more important. That's why public safety for all is my top priority. Since the pandemic, crime has been on the rise across the country, making the support of our public servant personnel is vital. If elected to council, I will support all efforts to ensure our men and women are safe or are providing for the needs of our community. Next, I will continue to support the Bill Garland 2019 bond program. I believe in the vision to help Garland grow and attracting people all around. I'm sorry to admit, but there's no degrees or certification to obtain to become a council member. Nonetheless, I hold a Bachelor of Science degree from Texas Southern University, a master's degree in healthcare leadership from WGU, Texas. Although those degrees concentrate on healthcare, the coursework on those degrees focus on innovation solutions, collaborative leadership, financial management, just to name a few. Those things are a benefit to the Council of Legislative Authority. My son and I moved to North Texas from Southeast Texas in the summer of 2019. After hurricane flooded my inherited home for my grandmother and putting it back together, I was done with Port Arthur. So my son and I, his senior year, packed up our stuff and we relocated to Louisville. I knew that I didn't want to live too far away, so Louisville was not going to be a permanent home. I wanted to move in closer. So Garland was on my top 3 places to live. The quick access to 635 was a plus because at that time I was working at Medical City, Dallas. And it had that hometown feel that I'm used to from Port Arthur. I love my home. I call it Clee's Cottage. You don't have to be in a particular place for a long time to see its potential. And I definitely want to be a part of that. In conclusion, I am a servant leader. I'm equipped to be elected to council representing District 5. I will be accessible to all citizens. I will uphold myself with integrity and the willingness to learn. I want to be taught by council and continue their excellent work. My knowledge of leadership is an added benefit to my personal attitude that I have. My many years of service as a healthcare professional have given me the compassion to care for others' needs. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for this invitation to allow me to be here and allow the citizens of Garland to get a better picture of who I am. I am genuinely grateful and appreciative for the opportunity. I am Cleve Kimball, candidate for City Council District 5.
Good morning.
Great.
Thank you so much for having us here today. The candidates have a long day ahead of us. We have another forum tonight at 7, and for those of us sneaking in an entire workday between the two forums, it's going to be a long one. But you as business owners understand long days. I was a business owner for a while. My name is Margaret Luft. I grew up in Garland. Actually, I grew up in District 5. I went to Williams Elementary, Sam Houston Middle School, and graduated from South Garland High School. I worked in Garland after I left for Denton for about 3 years. My dad needed help with his dental laboratory that he founded in Garland in 1980. I came to help him, and I operated that business from 2003 to 2021 when he passed away last year. I took a little break and started working for a small business in District 5 as an HR administrator, which I really love. I'm in charge of helping over 300 employees, and it really makes every day nice to be around people, because that's what I really love, is connecting with people and talking with people and supporting them. I was a member of the Parks Board for over 5 years, and I advocated heavily for District 5 to have many projects in the bond program. I was also on the Plan Commission. And there I really saw how much economic development is affected by the planning and zoning decisions that the Plan Commission makes, and then after that, the City Council. Economic development is very important to me, as it is to all of you. I started the Garland Parks Foundation with 4 other members, and we are dedicated to providing amenities for our parks that the bond program and other things just can't provide for them. So why am I running? Well, I'm fully vested in District 5. I work here, I live here. My husband also works in District 5. So it's very important to me that it is a more beautiful and safer place to live. I want to see District 5 thrive. I want there to be more economic opportunity. I want more businesses to come here so people have more places to work here. I want to keep residents in Garland. I want them to have an opportunity and access to quality retail, restaurants, shopping, grocery stores. I hate that people have to leave Garland, and District 5 especially, in order to get those things. And I think that there are many opportunities in our future to just provide innovative and unique economic development. There's a Hypermart lot and a Hollywood Theater lot that we have a real opportunity to place something special that will anchor the area and uplift our neighborhoods and retail centers. Crime is really, it feels really bad. A lot of the people I talk to don't feel safe, and I think that's a terrible way to live every day. Even at the end of my street, we've had a triple homicide on either end, and I heard those crimes happen. So it's very important to me to expand the gunshot detector program and the license plate reader programs and make sure that that money and funding goes directly to those. I also love the neighborhood police officer program, and I would do everything I can to promote their involvement with crime watch groups and neighborhood associations, and participate in those organizations myself. In order to attract better businesses, in order to keep the businesses we have here, economic development is really key. We really need to make smart decisions on Garland Road and along 635. It's important to put businesses there to make sure that existing businesses are promoting a more beautiful and aesthetic environment for everyone. No one wants to drive down from the Arboretum and come eat in Garland because we don't have anything for them to do. In order to attract people and their money to this area, we have to provide those things for them. So it's really important to attract those quality businesses. And I don't want it to sound like our businesses now aren't quality. I want more businesses and I want expansion. So progress is really, really important to making our area better. I live here, I work here. I want everyone in District 5 to have opportunity, enjoy their home, and have pride. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm gonna try this. I'm a walker. Comes from being a university professor. So, hi there, my name is John Dean. My wife and I moved to Garland in December of 2016, and we just loved it. It was a conscious choice. Garland is truly one of the greatest cities in the Metroplex. We did a lot of research before we chose it and came here. And this is our permanent home. And because of that, and because of my experience, which I'll talk about in a minute, I feel that it's a responsibility to offer to serve the city in whatever capacity I can. And to continue the great work that the city council has done and the mayor and our staff. I mean, really, if I had to have a catchphrase, it would be stay the course. We're on the right track and we're doing a good job. And I'd really like to be a part of that and keep that going. A little bit about me. Well, first let's talk a little bit about my wife. She's a travel nurse, and so she couldn't be here this morning. And she says her regrets. And but she and I were up in Alaska. I lived in Alaska for 19 years, where I worked at the Alaska Volcano Observatory, not something you hear very often. And for a while, I ran the satellite monitoring division of the Volcano Observatory. I was also a faculty member at the university there, where I also ran the remote sensing department as chair. And then they went and elected me faculty senate president, where I had to manage 630 plus faculty members. And then they made me faculty president for the system, where I had another 900 faculty members from the Anchorage and Juneau campus. And these people were not speaking to each other. They were forbidden to speak to the legislature because of the way they were acting when I came in. And boy, it was a challenge to get that fixed. And I did, and it's still fixed. Checked the webpage yesterday. Everybody still seems to be talking and doing a good job. I am a certified mediator. That helped. So I have experience running multi-million-dollar budgets and managing a lot of people in a lot of difficult situations. And so Garland we came here specifically because of the wonderful things that this city has to offer, and frankly also because I spent a little time before I moved in plotting up the tornado tracks for the last 50 years. You know, you get a scientist going, and what's he going to do, right? So I plotted up all the tornado tracks, and we actually sit in sort of a shadow because the weather usually comes from the southwest to the northeast, and the city of Dallas. The smaller tornadoes tend not to like to come through here. So I mean, there's a lot of good things about Garland. So when we were living out in our travel trailer, trying to find a place to live, after I piled it up, I told my wife, "Here we are, right there. That's where we're going. That's where we're going." And we just love it here. My wife and I both serve on the Crime Stoppers board, though she does have to. She'll have to remote in when she's not here, and that's a wonderful opportunity. As I love working with Connie, and one thing I'm really excited about Garland is I've been talking to my neighbors, campaigning, and is the sense of community. And that is the number one thing when I ask them, what's your favorite thing about Garland? They talk about the sense of community. They really like the sense of community, and they actually feel safe. I mean, the number two thing that comes up on the list of the things they like is the policing. They are really pleased with how the policing is going. I'm very encouraged by that, very happy to be able to help and serve on crime stoppers. And then the third thing they like the most, and I'm not going to give you the whole list, I'm trying to keep track of that for later, because I really want to focus on, you know, what my neighbors and my residents want me to do is they really enjoy the amenities. And again, thanks to all the people that worked on the Parks Commission, that is a wonderful thing that they enjoy. Such a wonderful green space that we have here, and that's still going. It's great. As for what I want to focus on is first, I want to focus on affordable, family-friendly housing. We have a lot of old housing stock that needs vitalization. I'm really glad to hear about the new $10,000 things for the neighborhood organizations. That's fantastic. Again, Garland going in the right direction, and I want to keep supporting that. I mean, one of the ways to help people the best is to make sure we have a lot of housing stock. That's the real way to keep the prices down and to make it Garland family-friendly, because that's the thing that I hear, number one. Number two, I really want to support existing small business and encourage new small business. We've heard the idea of infrastructure deserts. I taught disaster management at SMU. I sort of moonlight there now and again, and sometimes take private contracts with companies that are looking to keep their aviation assets away from volcanic ash. But because volcanic ash and jet engines do not play well together, but we can talk about that later. To support existing small business and to encourage new small businesses to come here, because Garland is such a wonderful place, and I'm concerned that some of the neighbors that I've mentioned have expressed that it is difficult to find the amenities nearby, and they're concerned about some of the intersections that they'd like to see, some of the wonderful old intersections that we've had revitalized, like wonderful things that have happened at for instance, Miller and South Garland Road, how they got the Garland Shopping Center and kept the old sign. That's great stuff. And we'd like to have more of that happening. And then finally, wow, can you believe it's happening after all this time? 6:35, they're doing it. They're doing it. And that has been such a challenge for the people living there. And as Margaret pointed out, it'd be great to make sure that we can help with the planning and development as that construction is finished to revitalize that area, because it is truly the gateway to Garland. And that entire corridor lives in District 5, and it's so important when people come from the rest of the Metroplex, from the west. This is their first impression of Garland. And we got to have to do our best to make sure that that is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I really appreciate your support in doing that. Again, thank you very much to the Chamber to have us all. This was a great opportunity, and I look forward to serving you. Thank you.
Okay, now we will go ahead and transition to the Garland ISD Board of Trustee candidates. For place one, we have Mr. Bob Duckworth, and we have Larry Glick, incumbent. So Bob.
Couldn't get a nicer day with God's blessing with the rain today. Good morning to all of you in person and on Zoom. Can you hear me okay? Good. Thank you, Paul and Karina, for having us hosting this event today. And I thank the Senate and our agency for sponsoring this today. I'm Bob Duckworth, and I'm honored to be the candidate for GISD Place 1 trustee. I'm a Christian, and I'm proud of that. I'm conservative, and I believe in truth and transparency. And that's a word I use a lot, is transparency. I have almost 50 years of banking experience. I'm now retired, so I have time to serve my community, and I do a good job of that, I think. Many of those years were in regulatory compliance, and loan review, which gives me some skills that a lot of people don't have in looking at things. Many of these years were regulatory compliance and loan review, so I learned a lot from that. I've been a public servant all of my life. In banking, you become a servant when you go to work for a bank. It's just a fact of life. I've been on numerous boards and commissions. I've certainly served on the First Baptist Church of Garland, on 4 or 5 committees, City of Garland, just served on the bottom committee and on the TIF 3 group. So I'm very involved in my community as well as my interest in the school district. I've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars to support community needs in this district. I had 3 children graduate from GISD, 4 grandchildren, and they're all doing pretty good in life. So I'm very proud of that district. Trustees are elected to take an oath to serve the public. Taxpayer. I think that, just because you don't have a student in school, you're still a taxpayer, so you're part of the program. Over the previous years, I've been really zealous in researching and educating myself on the school system and district matters. That makes me someone trustees and staff don't particularly want to deal with. Researching folks' questions and concerns, which in return requires me talking to somebody to explain what they're talking about and what they mean with this stuff. Apparently that will be bothered. I've been identified by the superintendent as one who does not have a student in the district. That's why I'm being emphatic about I'm a part of the district, even though I don't have a student in school. It should be listened to just like anyone else. How many sitting trustees do not have a student on the district? I count as 5, but not an inquiring citizen. The general counsel sent me a letter in February of 21 and again in 22. And in that letter, it states the following: moving forward, staff and board members will not respond to any request for information outside the district information request process. So I've been in kind of a wasteland for a year, having access to trustees and administration. I deal with that through emails. I don't have to do that. This is a joint venture to avoid dealing with my questions at the show. This action is actually a violation of their own school board policy, which states neither the board nor any district employee shall unlawfully retaliate against an individual for bringing a concern or complaint verbatim. And putting in writing what is in that letter is not a violation of that. I don't know what it is. I've followed the actions of this district and trustees for several years, and I am prepared to serve this community. Probably as educated in the school district policies and procedures, I've probably listened to hundreds of board meetings, committee meetings, so I'm pretty well versed on what's going on. I wish my opponent. The board recently approved the District of Innovation plan. And I personally wrote a 6 or 7 page memo explaining why they were doing it wrong. But my opponent made the motion to approve it at a recent board. My opponent uses pictures of the boardroom, district employees, trustees in his campaign on his website. In February, when I went to the drawing, I was told by the superintendent I couldn't take a simple picture against a blank wall in the boardroom because I might use it as political advertising. Where did it come from that? What is that? On my opponent's website, he has a picture of him on a Star Wars Imperial Stormtrooper. For those of you not familiar with the Star Wars series, the Stormtrooper is the bad guy. They're the one trying to kill him, the good people. Words matter, and the integrity we use to communicate with our children matters more and more in an age of TikTok and names and memes in the digital water cooler today. Does my opponent support Disney and its radical imperial woke agenda? I don't know. I think Yoda is a better leadership example. I have a picture there of Yoda in my car. Yoda doesn't see himself as a hero. Luke Skywalker is a hero. His role is to make Luke look better, get educated, and using a stormtrooper in your political imagery on your website is equivalent of a 1950s political candidate using a Nazi stormtrooper. In the movies, the Empire steals children from their homes to indoctrinate them and then send them back to their warships to conquer their own families. This is not a galaxy far, far away for today. These are our children. We need to compare me to an opponent. To my opponent in this picture on the website, I'll take Yoda because this picture of Yoda that's over there, and one of his wonderful sayings is, truly wonderful the mind of a child is. That's what I want our children to learn. And I think that's a void we have right now. Teacher salaries and benefits. I was listening to the budget last night. The last night listening to talk about the budget, raises and stuff. It's a very detailed matter, probably hundreds of pages. And I think there needs to be some simplicity applied to that so we can understand what they're talking about. I've heard one teacher comment that we're looking at a mass exodus of teachers at the end of the school year for salaries on blah, blah, blah. Superintendent's March contract, he received a significant raise and extended his contract. Teachers should not get any of this. New bond program, I'm certainly in favor of a new bond program as long as it doesn't raise our taxes. I think we can do that. We can do several $1 million. Education of our students, one of the concerns I have is in our schools today is the education of our children because they're forcing discipline back into the schoolroom. When I went to school, discipline was taken out of the schoolroom so the teacher could continue to teach the children over there. And that's what we need to do. Teachers should not be having to discipline students. Their part should be to have them removed so the other kids can learn. And this district is still under a 1970 desegregation order. So, quote from St. Augustine, the truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it, let it loose and it will defend itself. If you want truth and transparency, vote for Bob Delport. Excuse me, I'm about to steal some of the literature up here.
Wow. Education transforms lives. Education transformed my life. I wrote those words and they are now on the district website. I'm the first generation American born very, very poor in New York City, attended New York City public schools, graduated from the City University of New York with a bachelor's. All 4 years, I was a Regent Scholar. Following that, I worked for 2 years with Burroughs Corporation, now part of Unisys. I then attended Hofstra University, where I got a law degree, also known as a Juris Doctor in tax, Master of Business in finance. I was valedictorian for both of my classes, admitted to Beta Gamma Sigma International Honor Society, and I'm a member of the United States Supreme Court Bar. I started Glick & Glick Tax Consultants right after law school. It became a nationwide firm with offices throughout the United States, and after 30 years ended up selling the business to a Fortune 500 company. I moved to Dallas in 1981 and Rowlett in 1984. I think it's safe to say I've won every award possible from the city of Rowlett. 11 years on the Planning and Zoning Commission as chair, 4 comprehensive plans over 25 years. I chaired 2 of those. Rowlett Economic Development, 12 years on the Rowlett Chamber Board. In that room, right back there, right behind you, I chaired the Garland Economic Development Partnership many times. This is my 15th year on the Garland School Board. I carry the designation as Master Trustee. Less than 3% of the trustees in the state have that designation. I'd like to talk to you about 2 programs you may be unfamiliar with GISD. So 2 years ago, Mr. Johnny Beach, who's sitting here in the audience, was president. The administration asked both of us to make a presentation to the Texas Education Agency, TEA, on the system of grade schools. Now, you may be aware that we're a choice district. You can go any school you want. But one of the problems that developed was we have a waiting list, a significant waiting list for our magnet campuses. Mr. Beach and I made an incredible presentation, and we got the grant. So what does that lead to? 6 of our campuses, 5 in Garland and 1 in Rowlett, are now being repurposed as we speak. 2 will become academic, 4 will become MST, 6 new magnet campuses. The principals are so excited about this. The communities are so excited about this. The first classes start next year. Our waiting list will slowly diminish down to 0. We are the choice district that's followed in the United States. And now with these 6 new magnet campuses, we will be even better than we were before. There's another program that you may not be familiar with. It's called CCMR, College, Career, and Military Readiness. A independent organization has judged that each of our 7 high schools would have a letter grade A for what we're doing in CCMR. So let's talk about that a little bit. I think it's so important. Think about graduating high school and what do you want to do? College, career, or military? So in terms of college, it's ACTs, SATs, AP, IB designations, dual credit, getting an early degree from college. We do all that. We do it better than anybody else in Dallas County. That's what Commit organization has said. We're the best in Dallas County doing that, getting ready. And we pay for all those tests, by the way. Let's talk about career. There's something called a industry-based certification. Now, I can say you're a great welder. I can say you'd be a great nurse. I can say you understand Google. That's not what happens. Industry sets tests for our kids. They have to pass that test. By the way, we pay for that test. Last year, among the pandemic, in the worst of times, 3,683 of our kids got industry-based certifications, the highest count in Dallas County. We're getting them ready. We're getting them ready for jobs at your businesses. And finally, in terms of military readiness, really kind of interesting because at Garland High School, we have the Air Force Junior ROTC. So we think career, military readiness, college, we do it all. We do it better than anybody in this county. My website is larryglick.vote, really easy to go to. I got a call the other day from a lady. She says, did you really laminate those sheets? So when I was board president in 2013, the most important thing we do an awful lot in our district, you know that, getting kids academically ready. Student performance is what matters to me. So what I did is I set up some 5-year goals. I don't think that had ever been done in the district. And what did I do? I actually laminated the sheets with the 5-year goals. I did it again in 2015, and in 2017, I did it again. If you were at our boardroom, which is now under construction, you would see these sheets actually hanging from everybody's seat. So you could just pick them up and look at them and know exactly what our projections were. And we're meeting our projections. Now, there's one other thing I'd like to talk about, and that's transparency. When I ran in 2007 for the board, I talked about the fact we were the largest district in the state not televising our meetings. We do that now. Like a while, we do that now. We have committee meetings. We televise them. I'm the only trustee that I'm aware of in the history of the district that's ever listed a private phone number and a private email address. You've called that number, you've emailed me. I believe in transparency more than anybody I can know of. Now, way back when I was sharing P&Z in Rowlett, I started Citizens Input. That had never been done by anybody before. I wanted to tell you about an article. So if you go to that website under media, you'll see a letter. And the newspaper titled it Prime Time Click. You say, is that letter real? Well, I have the original right here. Back in 2002, a citizen wrote that letter because of what I did. I invited them to my office. They came. So I'd like to just say one thing about transparency. I believe in transparency. And sir, Mr. Duckworth, 3 weeks ago, you called me. We spent 2 hours on the phone talking. You asked for documents from me, sir, and I provided them to you. when Mr. Duckworth asked me to visit with him at the Ag Center, I went out there twice and met with him on the Ag Center. So, sir, every time you've called me, I've answered your phone call. Every time you've emailed me, I've responded. I'm not going to talk about what the district does. I think everybody knows how transparent our district is. I know what I do. So again, my main thing, my main goal, I've said it every year since I've been on board, is to make the Garland Independent School District the finest large urban district in the United States. We're real close. Our goal, our grade last year was 88, 2 points from being an A district. We will become an A district. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Larry. I would like to also recognize our Board of Trustees. Place 2, Johnny Beach, unopposed. And also place 3, Linda Griffin, unopposed. This is the part of the program where we open up to the audience for questions, and we are also able to take questions from Zoom. So are there any questions that any of you have this morning? This gentleman.
This is a question directed to the city council candidates. One would assume that all the city council candidates have had an opportunity or have reviewed the budget. My question is, all of you have talked about where you would spend the money, but my question is, from a revenue side, of the budget, what would be your main issue if you're elected? Not the expense side, the revenue side.
I'll have someone to answer that question. Council.
You don't count, you know what it is. Yeah, go ahead.
They're all voting for you to say. Well, if I'm understanding your question correctly, I'm trying to figure out exactly what you're asking. The biggest issue on the revenue side, so you're not asking what we would cut?
Your biggest issue. I know everybody talks about expenses, and that's where you would program the money, the spending money. This is where you get the money. From the revenue side, what would be your biggest issue?
Biggest issue? Well, it would be great if everybody in Garland would suddenly become rich. And, and I'll stand up. I'm old enough where twisting around in a chair is not comfortable. Our revenues, of course, a lot of that is our property values, and there's a lot of misunderstanding in the communities because we don't appraise. Everybody pretty much hates on the annual appraisals, including me. I protest them every time. So our property values, as they rise, that increases our revenue. And so from a city side, that's good news. Another source of revenue, of course, is new construction. It's new businesses coming in. So one of the things that we are doing quite aggressively with economic development is enabling and encouraging new development, new businesses to come in, and we're actually being quite successful at that. And that's one of the things that helps property owners not have, we don't raise rates. We raised rates one time, which was after the 2019 bond program, where I, and I think everybody else on council loudly warned, if you vote yes for this, we're going to raise our tax rate. And we did. Everybody overwhelmingly passed it anyway. But since then, we've reduced our rate. So a lot of our concerns are keeping a balance. We don't want to overburden citizens with property taxes. We are pretty aggressive in giving relief through homestead exemptions and senior exemptions. So, and again, I'm trying to detect where you're thinking are issues. I'm not sure what an issue is with revenue, except
Could we use more? I'm looking at the city manager. Could we use more revenue? Yeah, we can use more revenue, but are we going to do that by putting heavy burdens on the backs of the citizens? No, what we would rather do is encourage growth and expansion of the city, expansion of our sales tax receipts. All of that is what we're doing by improving the city. The more we improve the city, the more we improve our amenities, the better we get, the more beautiful we get. That's going to bring a natural expansion of the revenues we receive. Did that answer your question, sort of?
I just want to know the candidate's perspective on revenue.
Well, we like it. This candidate likes revenue. I'm in favor of it. Okay, thank you.
I think that when people hear property taxes, they solely think of homeowners. Businesses pay property taxes as well. They pay property taxes, ISD taxes. They pay 941 taxes, and if you're a really small business, those can be quite hurtful at times. As she said, improving economic development, drive up that sales tax revenue. And that's really what I would like to see. I would like to see more businesses around here, more amenities for people. And if we can keep our residents here to spend their money, our sales tax revenue goes up and bring people into.
Hi, yeah, I'd have to agree. Obviously, our property values are one of the places that we get our revenue. And as we, my first point to make sure that we have affordable family housing, the more families we bring in, the more revenue we'll get. The more businesses we bring in and attract, my second point, the more revenue we'll get. But Garland has some other sources of revenue as well. For the last 2 days, I've been trying to study a little more of the history. Garland Power and Light, actually, we do really well on how much we can generate and actually earn money by leveraging our power and selling that to other places. And I know that you have been instrumental when you were mayor to help that and actually helped us get through the storm a lot better than a lot of the other cities because of the work you did. Thanks for that. But I think grow the city. That's the best way. Businesses and revenues and take advantage of the resources that Garland has available that other people want.
If I may, let's try to keep our answers to a minute if we can, because we do have other questions this morning. And then if I can ask you to just stand in front of the camera here, so those that are on Zoom are able to see you.
I'll be so brief.
And introduce your name.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tracy Clayburg, and I'm running for District 2. And I just want to say corridors, the 635 corridor, the 78 corridor, you make that stuff look gorgeous, beautiful. You help these particular corridors do some aesthetic. You don't have to kick out the businesses, but we can definitely help them revitalize. And that's going to make people, as they drive into this gorgeous city of Garland, that's going to make them want to come here, and it's going to make them want to stay here.
Anyone else? Okay, we can go to the next question. Do you want to take the one on Zoom, Marina?
Yes, so this question is for the school board members, both of you. The question is from Mr. John Rogers. What is your position on CRT and also the 1619 project? And in addition to that question is also transgender boys competing against girls.
Bob Duckworth, place one, GISD. Three questions, three-part, I believe, CRT, 1619 project, and transgender in sports and school districts. I am not for teaching CRT in school districts. I think that's a college level design course, and that's where a child or a student should be introduced to that. 1619 project. There's 2 or 3 of them going out there, so I'll let you study those. You have to, I would want to ask this person to define what they're calling the 1619 project. As far as transgender in sports, I do not personally agree with that. I think that is highly inappropriate for a young lady to be competing against a young man. It doesn't work well on the other side, so that's why that doesn't happen. But I'm a Christian, as I told you to begin with, and if you ask me a question, I'll say, let's go look at the Bible and see what does the Bible say about that. And our pastor is very open in some of these subjects. Thank you.
Larry Glick, also Garland ISD. The issues are really interesting. CRT has never been taught in Garland ISD, never will be taught in Garland ISD. It's a college, and actually I had CRT training in law school. So it's at graduate, usually graduate levels and above. As to the 1619 project, there are 2 competing projects, 1619 and the 1700 projects. I think both are interesting. I think both should be taught. The genesis for the 1619 project is that's when the first slaves arrived in America. I think it's important to be aware of those dates, but I'm also very patriotic. My father landed on the beaches of Utah Beach on D-Day, is a decorated World War II hero, very patriotic. I believe we can teach both. And as to the third question, I'm really somewhat undecided on that. I know we don't have any of those transgender students in our district right now. And I think that will be an issue for the board to look at when that issue arises. Thank you.
All right, I've got another school board question, so if you want to stay up there. John Rogers, and this is online. He says 1619 is the school curriculum coming out of the New York Times article. He just wanted to clarify that. His other question is, what do you want to do to increase trade skill education training?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the really critical issues. I would say, instrumental in building the Gilbert Reed Career and Tech Center. I was one of the trustees who visited multiple career centers throughout the United States. One of the ones that we thought we might model ourselves after was the Dubisky Center in Grand Prairie. Dubisky does it a little different, and they are a standalone high school. So you have the career portion here and the high school portion here. We decided early on that would not be the model. The model we have is all 7 of our high schools come to GRCTC. The most important thing to me is when we built it, and I worked with the architects, it is expandable. We will be having a bond sometime, I hope, November 2023. Very easily, we will be able to add 40,000 square feet. If you look at the direction it goes, it's there, the land is there. What I hope will be the first program, and I've been pushing this for a while, is aircraft and airline mechanics and pilots. They're retiring at the greatest levels ever. We have 2 major airlines based here, American and Southwest. We believe we'll get grants. I know the people who are running those programs. There's a great one throughout the, Rockwell just started their first program. Frisco has a program. We can model those, and as we did with GRCC, make ours the best in the Metroplex. Thank you.
Hey, again, Bob Duckworth, place of 1 GISD School Board. The 1619 project in the 1776, I believe is the name of that project. Recently, the TEA, I believe it was like yesterday, came out with the newspaper article in a rendition that what kind of books and what kind of teaching is going to be in school is going to be pushed back to the board level approval. So rather than answering, if you need to sit down and look at the two together and say, as a board, do we want this taught in our schools or do we not want it taught in our schools? And if we do, what kind of criteria do we want to use? At what age level do we want to introduce kids? 3rd, 4th, 5th, 5-year-old kids just aren't not designed for some of the things that some people want to be taught in school today. Children have a maturity level, and that's what we need to look at when we're talking about these things. As far as the increase the education for trade, think, as he said, I think Gilbert Reed is one of the best facilities we have in the district with our student population, Hispanic students. So many of those children don't really want to go to college, but they do want to have a good trade. So I think we need to expand that in every school. We need to give every kid an opportunity to learn the trade that so many of these children don't want to go. I didn't go to college, but I educated myself in the banking industry. Went to graduate banking school at SMU. So I think I'm pretty well educated after the years I had, but some kids don't want to go through formal training. And I was one of those. I don't think I'm any worse off for that. I think I'm just as well educated as I need to be doing what I'm doing. And as a note, we haven't mentioned this, but on the election, there's a couple of tax-related issues, and they relate to the your school taxes. So study those, and they could, if you vote for those, they could decrease your taxes. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes our program. I want to remind everybody that the first day of early voting is Monday, April 25th, and it'll be held here at Dallas College Richland Garland campus. Election day is Saturday, May 7th. Please visit the chamber website for more information on each candidate. And last but certainly not least, I want to just invite everyone to join us for a luau of fun at the Garland Chambers Hawaiian Inspired Expo on Friday, May 6th in the parking lot of the Garland Central Library. It is free to attend. Come explore exhibits and find opportunities to do business with our small businesses. Please visit the chamber website for more information and exhibitor opportunities. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. I want to thank the candidates here that are running for their time also. And I just want to wish everybody safe travels back to work or back home, and wish everyone a wonderful Easter. Thank you.